God, the thing is tall. Well, hello there. How you been? It's been a long time. That was my neighbour, by the way. I wasn't waving at you, because that would be weird. So, on the weekend, Matt asked me about what I thought about this this sort of disagreement between FortNine when they raising the thing around leaning your motorcycle, and you should lean the bike under you and not lean off the bike, versus Moto Ninja's response to that, which was interesting, and then MCrider's response to that. And Matt asked me what I thought of those, and I only just watched them now, so I hadn't had a chance to see them at the time. But now that I've had a chance to watch them, it's interesting. I both agree and disagree with all three of them. Now, there's one thing I agree with. Basically, with all three of them, I agree with what they're all saying about technique, right? It makes perfect sense. FortNine is talking about low-speed stuff because, he's riding an adventure bike. Is this person trying to change lanes or what? Or are they just really bad at driving? And then MotoJitsu, which I must admit I've never watched any of his stuff until that was the first video of his that I watched. Seems pretty good. That person is very, very bad at driving. And absolutely agree with what he's saying around technique. He's talking about fast riding. FortNine is talking about slow riding. And then, of course, MCrider is just getting upset with everyone riding too fast, which I also agree with, by the way. Probably not as pessimistically as he is, but still, I do agree with exactly what he's saying. However, I disagree with all three of them in one aspect, and that is that they seem to think that everyone rides the same way that they do. And this is one of the things that annoys me when people give advice around motorcycling, is they usually say, this is what you're supposed to do because I do it that way. It's like, just because it works for you doesn't mean it's going to work for other people. Because if you think about how different bikes are, my technique riding this bike is very different to riding the MT-09, right? It's just a totally different thing. Different things work in different situations for different people in different ways. And even the surface will change, depending on where you're riding. If you're riding somewhere that's twisty and really smooth, perfect surface, then yeah, absolutely. There's leaning off it is going to help a little, even if it's a little bit, right? But leaning massively off the side of it, pretending it's a racetrack, not a good thing, right? But then if you're in a twisty place that's got a bumpy as shit, road, then you actually want to use a lot more suspension travel, right? So you want to give the bike as much suspension travel as possible, right? There's all different things for different scenarios. So that's one of the things I disagreed with, is the fact that they were saying this is how you ride the bike, right? Anyway. But one thing I do love is the fact that all three of them were respecting each other's point of view and then layering on top with their own perspective. And I really like that. I think that's the thing around motorcycling, is that we don't just go and tell each other off and go, you're a dickhead, you can't do that. There's a lot of respect there for each other, which I really appreciated and thought was a really good thing. Anyway, time for a pink slip. By the way, if you're in the Castle Hill area, I highly recommend, if you need any automotive stuff done, chat to Joe at Castle Hill Automotive. Legend bloke. They've always done the right thing by me, which is awesome. Very thorough on their inspections, but really helpful as well. So there's two other things I wanted to update you guys on. One was podcast. We now have the MotoRides Australia Podcast. I had a great chat with Simon Porter over at Global Walkabout.
You got to have a map. Like it's not a study until there's a map on the wall. When there's a map on a wall, suddenly
I've got a map on there, but that's about it.
I mean, I don't use it, but that's beside the point. Yeah. It's fantastic for glancing at.
And the other thing is, of course, you can look at it and you can go, "Oh, I want to go there," and then never go there.
Yeah. I can put a pin in all the places I really want to go, but probably never will.
Yeah, that's about it.
I'll link to his YouTube channel, and we had a fantastic conversation. It was really good. I also caught up with Fabian. I think that's how you pronounce her name.
My name is Fabian Phillips, and I am a motorbike instructor.
Over at Girl Talk. They do training for female riders. Really interesting business, and she's pivoted a fair amount during COVID to an online platform, which is to do online training, which I thought was really impressive. And we had a bit of a chat about some of the adventures she's done in the past, and her trip around Italy sounds amazing. So I reckon I might add that one to my list as well. So check those out on Spotify and an Apple Podcasts. And so that's that. Now the other thing, one last thing, is that the Moon and Flat video is coming very, very, very soon. It will come in multiple episodes, and I'm kind of happy now with the basic structure. So now I'm just tweaking the first couple of episodes so I can bring them out. So they will come out very soon. And really looking forward to those ones. Actually, that was a really enjoyable ride, and it was a lot of hanging out with the guys and having a bit of fun. So hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you enjoy watching it as much as we enjoyed riding it. This thing's wobbling around like crazy. I don't know if this stabilizer will be able to handle it. There's no way I'm going to filter between that truck. I've also kind of made a decision because I realise I'm not putting videos out anywhere near as frequently as I'd like to. So I'm going to kind of do a little pivot myself and change a couple of things. Nothing drastic, I just want to put out more videos. There's one of the reasons I do this is for that sort of moment when you publish something and it's exciting, and right, to have something, a finished product. And because I'm sort of spending too much time trying to be a cinematographer, then I'm not publishing videos anywhere near as frequently as I'd like to. So I'm going to do some more series on technical stuff. So that's going to come very, very soon. Just going into more detail around, just some little how-tos, how I capture stuff, and how I have my cameras set up, all that sort of stuff. So that will come, so look out for those ones too. Anyway, I hope you're all awesome, and looking forward to getting out of this lockdown pretty soon if you're in New South Wales or Victoria. We're almost there, just hold on a little bit longer, we're almost there. Anyway, stay safe, have fun, and I will see you next time.